But what is a threat to the water table is improper well construction. When the wells, which are above ground, when they explode, they release all sorts of methane into the groundwater. And we had a lot of, when the fracking boom started in Pennsylvania, we had a lot of these cowboys coming up and constructing wells in a haphazard, just slap it in the ground manner. And that's caused the explosions that you saw in Gasland 1 and, you know, the explosions everybody dramatized, correctly so. Well, we addressed that issue, John Hanger did, by writing a very strong regulation for construction of wells. And that regulation was passed by the legislature in 2010, my last year as governor. And since then, we haven't had one major well implosion or explosion since. So that was something we were a little negligent. We should have done that at the beginning, at the get-go. The second thing that we didn't anticipate was the disposition of the frack water. Although the fracking doesn't affect the groundwater.
Are you referring to the impoundments?
Right.
Yeah.
The impoundments were a problem, and the impoundments were temporary, and what was happening was the frack water was trucked and dumped into Pennsylvania waterways. And there was no regulation to govern that. So again, with John Hanger's leadership in 2010, we passed through the legislature a regulation that says before you can dump any frack water in a Pennsylvania waterway, it had to be cleaned to the standards in the Clean Water Drinking Act. Clean Water Drinking Act. So that was preventative, and we haven't had any major problem with the pollution in the waterways since. But we didn't anticipate as well as we should have, so there were problems, no question about it. But I think to some degree those problems have been remediated. Now, does that mean that we can promise the citizens that fracking can go on and there's no potential for something happening? Of course not. Any more than nuclear can promise that there never will be another meltdown. Any more than burning coal can promise that there won't be particles in the air that cause asthma. You know, so yeah, I mean, there's a way to create the proper balance, but you've got to be vigilant and minimize as much as you can.